There we go. All right. Howdy, folks. I'm Cody with Ironverse Comics, and we're doing another Ironverse Comics interview. I'm really privileged and very happy to host a wonderful creator here with the Killer Project Wrath. Scott, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and what Wrath's all about? And hopefully that'll inspire some good questions from chat and myself.
Sure. So I'm Scott. I'm a fellow Wicked creator with Cody, and my project, as he said, is called Wrath. It's a story about a young man who had an abusive childhood until his mother finally made the decision to get him out of that and leave his biological father and basically start a new life where he basically had a good, healthy upbringing from there, but those feelings he had, he still held on to them. They're still repressed there. And our story starts when he is just having a little study group with his best friend Nicole, who he's known since he was, I think it's third grade. Um, and she just casually, without thinking, mentions his biological father and how his mom's afraid that he might turn out like him. And that kind of strikes a nerve with Doug and puts him in a bit of a sour mood. And we see him kind of call it a night. And as he's riding his bike home, he starts having these flashbacks of um, some of those memories. And he gets a little upset, and so he decides to take a shortcut home through a dark wooded path. Um, Unfortunately, there's two people waiting for him. There's a little altercation there, and he basically has some more flashbacks after these guys beat him up and take his bike. And then he goes home. His parents confront what happened because he's all beat up, and he's goes upstairs, kind of just throws himself on the bed, and uh, then we kind of see this emergence. And I'm not going to go too much more into the story from there, just to give you a little taste. But this creature comes out and goes and looks for those guys that beat him up.
Yeah. Well, I can say I've read the first issue, few versions, and I was very pleased with the quality and with the approach for the storytelling. It builds up quite well, and it's a good journey. I would say the audience for the book seems to skew towards Doug. You know, that kind of age where you're dealing with things and trying to figure out your footing as an adult, and that's a wonderful path I love seeing explored in storytelling. It's one that can help a lot of people, in all honesty, and I love seeing that. Um, I think the idea of a manifested rage, I have very similar themes in Jack in terms of vices or dark things manifesting physically and having to deal with that in the real world. I find that a very compelling and direct way to address complicated ideas with your readers, and makes it more relatable almost, even though it's much more fantastic. And again, I love that. I I've been really happy to see your continued enthusiasm for the project and for comics in general. It's not the easiest thing to dive into, and you have weathered and done damn fine work the whole time. That speaks a lot to your belief in your project and in the work you're doing, and that, again, that speaks very highly to me, and I think it will continue to speak to your readers and people who are interested in this young man's tale. Now, we spoke a little bit about the book. Now, how did the creative team kind of manifest, and how did you get the ball rolling on this project?
That's a little bit of luck on my part. I happened to meet Michael from Wicked Publishing. He was a new employee where I was working at the time, when Wrath was still kind of basically this idea that I was developing, and I found out that he wrote comics and was, starting Wicked Publishing. So I gave him my pitch idea, just threw it out there, and he was like, I really like that. Let me talk to my partner about this, and we'll get you a pitch in. So um, had a voice chat, sit down with both of them, pitched them the idea, ran them through the whole outline I had. At this point, I didn't even have the script for the first chapter yet. Um, and they both liked it and decided to bring me on. So then I got kind of thrown in the bullpen with you and the Mythoverse guys, and I think at that point I had a script and a concept, a very basic concept of the Rage Puppy. And I was just kind of like, how did I get here, man? Like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
The secret that no comic creator should ever let anybody who's not know is that none of us really know what we're doing. Ever.
Yep, yep.
No, no,
That's what I kind of figured out.
it's not 100% true, of course. But the concept is we all start from somewhere, and most of us are starting from the same place of not knowing what we're doing, and we're learning different things as our experiences reach us, and as we try to learn from them. And so we're going to learn different things, and having a good group to share those experiences with can save a lot of people a lot of trouble. And I'm always happy to be part of that, and I'm always happy. One thing I will never take away from Wicked is they are extremely good at finding new talent that has a voice, has something that needs to be said. And I'm proud to be a part of that and to help facilitate it in my small way with these interviews and just with my presence. And I'm so happy so many others seem to feel the same way and add that support and that harmony that's necessary to be heard above everything that's being made these days, particularly now in this year. Um, we were talking about this before we went live, but crowdfunding platforms have kind of shifted energy the last few months, even I would say last 4 or 5 months, and so it's become very. I don't want to use the word fashionable, but it's close to what I want to use. It's the thing to do if you need some extra cash this year and are creative, whether you're an actor or any other kind of writer, to put out a comic. It's become a way to get a foot into something you might already have a foot in, but to start at a easier, more pitchable level. And that's great for a lot of folks. But for folks like myself and you, it's more of a grind because we don't have the original platform to leverage our voice from. And it's an interesting ball field this year, and I'm happy. There seems to be interest, which hopefully means these bigger projects with a little bit more weight are attracting new readers. That is my hope, and I think it's impossible not to be the truth. I just don't know if that readership will spread. My hope would be it would. But yeah, I don't know what the future is going to look like, and that's both scary and wonderful. And again, happy to share it with you, brother. Now,
Yeah.
let me go ahead and pull up your campaign, and we'll kind of go through that a little bit so that people can, get an idea of what you're trying to sell them on here. Now let me see.
Sure,
Display
and
capture
I
should
think
do it. Yeah, go
a
for it.
big part of whether or not things are going to be successful going forward, especially on the you know crowdfunding side, is getting those successful campaigns in and getting them in at a reasonable time. Like that affects everyone.
That's my thinking too. And when, for instance, when Boom went on with Berserker, with Keanu's project, and said, "Well, we don't even need the money, but here's a pre-order anyway," that sent confidence out in the book, and that it's going to deliver on time and all of that, which is great. We need more of that in crowdfunding. But it also put forward this arrogance of like, "Yeah, we don't need this, but we're going to use it anyway." And I saw that rub some folks wrong, and I could see why. But honestly, again, this is I don't. We get very arrogant in comics, and we think they're this big deal. And in the scale of almost I mean, I was listening to Adam Lawson from the Kill Journal. He was doing an interview on, oh God, I don't remember the channel, but he also has experience in board games. And from his experience, board games make about 50 times and have about 50 times the audience of comics. And that's board games. And this is the same nerd niche. So I think there needs to be an understanding with comics that you have to be humble a little bit, or you're going to get yourself in some trouble, because it's a wonderful medium. It's got some of the most passion of any medium, but it is tiny. It is just minuscule. And again, anything that could grow that, I'm happy with. So if you can get an
Yeah.
actor who suddenly now he's a comic book writer also, that adds legitimacy to the whole deal. And that's great. But again, we're here about Wrath. So on Indiegogo, it looks like you're at 64%. 8 days left. I know you have already extended. So this is it, folks. Got 8 days left to get this guy going. Now, I don't think if he wasn't to fund, I don't think if you don't fund, you're not going to try again. But just like me and our work, it's not something you look forward to.
No.
Not
Definitely
at all. And so, we all want to get these books out as quick as possible with the best quality. And though you learn from every effort you make in these projects, and sometimes you do need a good slap and a reminder, this is where you're at. It's still not of course it's not the best possibility, but it's also not.
the end of the world.
There you
the end
go.
of the project.
Exactly, and that's my hope, because I could see a lot of people who get into this maybe put all their cards on the table, try really hard, and then they get their legs swept out from under them. And then that we were talking about passion again, comic passion, and that's the other thing about comics, which I've heard a few other people talk about too, which is great, because I've noticed it, is basically every comic reader wants to be a creator or has an idea for something. Whereas, not every actor has an idea for a movie. They might want to direct or something, but they don't have that same drive to engage directly with the medium like comics do. So you're always dealing with other creators. You're always dealing with somebody who is essentially your competition, but also the only thing that's keeping you afloat. And that's been a very interesting balance for myself. But I think it's a good thing to recognize that, and that's how we get so much support behind these projects that really it might not be there in any other medium.
And speaking of getting the legs swept out from under, that happened to me in the beginning. If you remember that Kickstarter I did.
I do.
so we know I can get back up.
Exactly. That's the thing too. I mean, we here at Iver's Comics too. We tried Cactus Coyote. We got 10% what we wanted after 3 months of campaigning, and 40 pages free to read, and all of this continuous growth. There's never a guarantee, no matter what experience you have with this. It's always a gamble. Any kind of creative endeavor seems to be, particularly if you want to make something financially out of it. It's a gamble. But yeah. So again,
And that was
$64, $2,500 fixed goal, of course. I've never been a big fan of the oh god, what's the other term? It's not fixed goal. It's flex goal.
Flexible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a flex goal. I've never been a fan of
Me neither.
that. It makes it puts an extra level of you have to have faith in what you're doing, and they have to have that extra faith because they're not getting their money back whether or not you fund. And if you don't fund, then how would you have had the money to make something? I could see some projects where the scale just it scales down and you're going to make something anyway, and so your minimum is probably going to be fine, and if you get a little over, great. But still, so that's always a plus on me. When I see flex goal, I always kind of go, oh, okay, what's it look like? And I tend to
Yeah.
find that they make a little bit less too, in my experience. I see that trepidation isn't just mine; it seems to be other people's. So I'm always happy to see that, but again, that means it's all or nothing, folks. If you're unfamiliar with crowdfunding, um, so
But
I got to
I
get them
think
there.
you and I have that same mindset. We don't want to commit to something and take people's money unless we know we can deliver.
Exactly, and that was a tough one with me this year, especially the last day we get 40% of our funding. Like what?
That was
I
amazing.
was like, okay, well, I don't know if these numbers are going to 100% work out anymore, but why not? Why not? And so that's what I've been dealing with for the last couple months, and so far I think I've padded it enough to the numbers will work out. But I want to welcome Josh, the amazing animator. Thank you so much for showing up, man. Just doing another wonderful creator interview. I'm stoked. I think this is it's number 4 on the channel. Two of them have been you, Scott, but it's the second one that's going to be the consistency till something changes that, if anything. So again, thank you so much for showing up, Josh. If you have any questions about Wrath, about the project, about comics, we're here talking about those things. So you explained the story already, and if folks want to reread it and really absorb it, of course, please check out the link, Indiegogo.com, Wrath, Chapter 2. That Google search should get you right here. It looks like one of each with that. Okay, so I'll start with the lowest, and then we'll go back to the featured, because the featured probably talks about and includes some of these lower tiers. So, of course, for $5, you can get a digital copy, emailed once it's completed. I've gotten the digital of Wrath 1. It's clean, safe, same process I believe we use at Ironverse to deliver our books. Uh, and that profit margin there really does help the book get made. So digital is always welcome. Please back if you can't back otherwise. That is a wonderful way to do it. Hopefully you want to read the book as well, but if you just want to support the creator, I don't think there's a single creator out there who's not going to take your money and give you a book one way or another. So there's the digital at 10, and I believe what is it, $4 shipping?
Yes.
At 10, $4 shipping, so $14 to your door. You'll get your digitals. I'm assuming probably as soon as the digital's ready to go out, which is usually before print. Yeah.
Yeah, that's if you look
Okay.
at the delivery date, we have November for the digital, and
Oh,
then early next year for the print.
there you go. So you'll get your digital and you'll get your print of it with, I believe this is is there, I think there's probably a better picture of yeah, here you go. Uh, this is the original cover, the main cover. Let me go ahead and move chat off of that so folks can see it a little bit better. It implies Doug's trauma, or not trauma, his condition, his current condition after issue 1. Kind of being in between worlds even more than he was, while highlighting his co-star. What's her name?
That is Nicole. That's his best
Nicole.
friend, and he kind of drags her into the whole shenanigans. Well, I guess we'll call them.
Okay.
At the end of number 1. So she's gonna help him kind of figure out what's going on with him.
All right, and that's the main cover, so that's what you'll be getting with the Wrath 2 standard, alongside the digital copy, of course. Um, you can get a digital catch-up of Wrath. The one thing I said, I kind of wanted to also get another copy of Wrath Chapter 1, but I'm assuming there's going to be a reprint very soon from Wicked Publishing where folks can just get it straight from them, yeah?
Yeah, there's a link there at the top.
Oh, excellent.
Where you can still order. I think
right there. Yeah.
they still have a few copies. Um, I've actually ended up with a little bit of their inventory that I've been selling at work. So
Oh, right on.
we're running low. So if you want to grab that, grab it now, especially since they are raising the prices on Saturday, I believe, right?
Yep. As you can see here, folks, it's $1 off right now, but it will go back to $5 a comic. Pretty much for most of Wicked's comics. There's a few much bigger comics like Star Ring that's coming out. That's a $10 kind of more in between a trade paperback and a floppy kind of size, if I remember right. So there's going to be a few different things. Please check out our publisher's website as well. Any money going towards helping them helps us quite a bit. Yeah, so if you want your chapter 1, you can already go get it. Just go snag it. But if you want the digital and you want to help support the campaign, you can do that. And it'll get you both digitals. So you'll be getting a digital of number 2 and number 1, which is great. Probably will you be sending the digital of number 1 out right away or at the same time as chapter 2?
There's a few things that as soon as the money clears, I'll be sending them out.
There you go.
The digital for 1 will be
Okay.
going out as soon as we get that locked in.
Okay, well there you go.
And this was just kind of a, like if you wanted to back the campaign and get both digitals, we did it for 10. But as you can see, and I wasn't shy about showing you where you could get the digital for 1 cheaper. You could just get 2 and 1 and spend $6 as well.
Yeah.
I'm not picky.
No, again, however you want to go about it, you want to lend more support to creators, please do. We need it. But if not and you can't, we want you to have the books still in whatever form you can. I'm pretty sure that's shared by everybody just because it's not the easiest medium to work in, and the best part is sharing your stories. At least for me, sharing your stories, sharing your team's art, sharing the effort and all of the love and care. And again, I'm going to use effort again because there's a bit of effort in getting these things out. So any level, wherever you can find it. And our goal is to make it the easiest you can to find these things and to find the right level of support that you can provide. Always happy to see that. Now, chapter 2 has a variant as well for a little bit more expensive. I'm assuming because this variant will not be reprinted.
Correct. We did a variant on chapter 1. Did a 1 printing. There's 41 copies. That's it.
All right.
So we print enough to cover backers with a few extra, like maybe 10 extra, just to cover
the bulk printing too. Yeah. Usually it's a round number for printing.
Yeah. Well, it's 41 because we had the proof.
There you go. But yeah, let me see if I can find yeah, there it is. And so if you want this cover right here, this is the only place you're gonna get it. And you get to lend a little bit more support to the creator, which of course makes a big difference. I think that's a great option to have. And I'm glad you did.
On the first campaign, we guaranteed a signature on the variants. That ended up being a little bit more work with COVID than we expected. Yeah. Still did it, but this time we didn't guarantee it. But if it's possible, we'll do it again.
All right, well that's good to know. So I mean, folks, it's not on there, but there's a chance that's also going to be a signed variant. I'm glad to hear that. Signing is near unfeasible for Ironverse Comics, just because of how spread out our team is. But what we did for ours is that there's going to be metal prints, both a trading card and a larger one. I'm going to be signing those. So those are being shipped directly to me, and then I'll just ship those directly to backers. It won't be one package with all your stuff, which I know that's kind of cool when you can open one. Like I just experienced it with Black Ops 3 and I think Bigfoot Bill 2, where you open this package and you get a whole bunch of cool stuff, and it's got a good feeling to it. But feasibility has to be considered, and for a smaller scale, especially folks who are still kind of figuring out how to keep the motor running on their projects, getting signatures done can be very difficult, more so than you'd think, just because of how far you have to get them around and the cost of doing so. And I couldn't imagine in COVID times at the moment. So, yeah.
Well, with me, I'm lucky. I'm only 15, 20 minutes away from where Wicked basically ships the books from.
Mm.
But on another stream, I had Michael explain what he had me do to sign the variants. So I had to show up, gloves, mask, pick up the books, take them home, like clean a space to work on, keep the gloves on, sign all the books, put them back in the sleeves, drop them back off, and Michael then wiped them down again.
Well, no, you got to be. I mean, I don't blame. I would rather him over precaution that doesn't terribly stand in the way of what you guys are trying to accomplish than under precaution that eventually becomes a problem.
Yeah, where the original plan was, I was just gonna go over there, help him pack some, sign him off while we did it, and just kind of make
Hang
a fun
out.
afternoon out
Yeah,
of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it
So
became
that
it
did not
became a
happen,
mission. But you got
yeah,
it
but we
done.
got it.
Exactly, you got it done, and that's excellent. If you want to snag both the variant cover and the regular cover, it's $25. You'll get your digital, of course, as well. So that's good. Did shipping go up if you're getting one of each?
I believe it's 6, just for
Okay,
the extra copy.
got
And
it.
then I think the featured tier would be the next one we would want to look at.
All right, so now here's our featured tier, which is one of each with extras. The extras include a print and a sticker. Is the print on the campaign page?
Yes, that is towards the
Oh,
bottom.
there you
That is
go.
that
Is this one?
custom. Yeah, the
Yeah.
custom one that Emilio did that has that almost a tarot card like look to it.
Yeah, no, it's really pretty. Very evocative. I like it quite a bit. So if you guys want that print, which I do, that's the tier to snag. You get that, and then is the sticker the same, or I think it's that little chibi puppy, isn't it?
No, we
No,
did
okay,
we did that later. That
okay,
might be a stretch goal. We got
okay.
to get this thing funded first,
Yeah,
but
of course.
yeah.
So what's the
I think
sticker?
that'll be popular. Yeah. If you go to the updates, there's actually a
Okay.
picture
Oh, excellent,
of the sticker.
excellent, excellent. I bet that's yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it's a
Yep.
sticker of the print.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
And
excellent.
it's card size. And yeah, it looks really great.
It does.
And yeah,
All right,
I've
so
got a
that's
few
the
people that are
extras.
excited to get that.
Oh yeah, I when I posted earlier, there's a guy. I can't read it until I have my print and my books in hand. It's glad to see that. It was a reply to us doing this. Love seeing that interaction. So for 35, so you're helping support even more, and you get a couple of exclusive stuff. I'm assuming again you're going to batch print the prints, and then that's probably going to be it. Or are you going to reprint them through Wicked, or is there any plans to reutilize that print?
So with this print, the deal I made with Emilio is that it is only for the Chapter 2 campaign.
There you go.
So if we do, hypothetically, if we did a Kickstarter after this, that would possibly be on there.
Okay.
But
Okay.
because we specifically worded that the variant was just for the Indiegogo, that would not be on there. So
Okay.
the variant is definitely live campaign only. In fact, the sticker and print will still be available after if we go in demand, but the variant goes away.
Okay, well there you go, folks. So this is the Indiegogo variant. If you want it, snag it. You get it, I believe, in that featured tier. Yes, you do. You get your digital, you get your standard, and you get the print and the sticker. 35. Did printing go up for that? Or not printing, shipping, excuse me.
Yes, we talked about that. I think it's about $6, but the print and the sticker don't really add too much weight. So
That's what I thought.
it's
So it's
about
not
it's
above
yeah
the other double. It's just more in that double. Okay,
yeah.
right on. Right on. Let me go down now because I think we're a little bit further. You can get the T-shirt for $65. I'm assuming this is kind of additionally exclusive to this campaign. So it also might make a return if you went to Kickstarter. The T-shirt?
Possibly. I'll have to
Possibly.
look at
Okay.
that.
Okay.
It's kind of an experiment how we're doing that. But the cool thing with the T-shirt is that's one of the things that'll go out with the digital as soon as we get the money.
Yeah.
I'm using my storefront, so I just basically plug in the info. It gets printed, packaged, and shipped right to the backer.
That's what I'm doing for the T-shirts as well. That makes sense. Right on. Um, if you want everything, which I assume includes the sticker, yep, includes the sticker and the print, $80, you get everything. So you get your T-shirt right when it ends, you get your digitals right when it ends, and then you'll be waiting a little bit, hopefully not too long, for the print, the sticker, and your physicals, both of them. Very
Yeah,
cool.
that'll all come together. Basically, I'll get the stickers, drop them off with Wicked. They'll get the prints and comics together, and we'll just send out one little convenient package.
Right on.
So the shipping with the T-shirts,
Yeah.
though, that is a little bit more because we're shipping you 2 different packages.
Yeah. That makes sense. So, of course, check it out, folks. When you select it, it'll give you your numbers. But that's a good little set right there. Somebody was smart enough to claim. I love seeing that. It looks like this is all domestic as well. That's something I probably should have brought up earlier.
Yeah, it is all domestic right now.
Okay. Smart.
I'm still playing with the idea. I'd like to open up the international during the live campaign to give people a shot at the variant. Um,
Gotcha.
but
Well, I've just found a good loophole for the British end of it. So England, Canada, and Australia that I'm gonna give to Wicked. So hopefully they'll act on
okay.
it. That helps. It's basically a fulfillment center there, and it can half or quarter the shipping. It takes care of a lot of the import fees, a few of those things. So I'm gonna have to talk to them about that. But hopefully in the future we can at least offer it to English speaking areas a little bit more easily and at a more reasonable shipping cost. I had to charge upwards of, God, I think it was $40 for Australia. So, I mean, people are willing to pay it, which is wonderful. I love seeing that support. But I'd rather that money go back into our books than go
Yeah.
straight to the shipping people and to customs and such. So, I'm looking, and I have at least one idea that hopefully will improve that for most folks. But we'll see. But that's good to know, folks. So it doesn't even end up in Canada. And I know a lot of people, for instance, for the iconic comics campaigns like Black's. I think it's Soulfinder, and a few others. They don't ship internationally either because of the cost involved, and they get a lot of people who are unhappy about that. And I know there's a happy medium somewhere, so I'm working towards that for sure. Because Wicked took a hell of a hit for the Ironverse campaign, getting those issues out internationally, and I love them for it. Um, this tier right here, it's a big one, it's a fun one, and it's a good one. You can get in this book. No, and you also get the book. Awesome. That was my next question right there. So, $150, you can get Cameo and get placed in the book. Right now, I'm seeing Adobe, so that was wonderful to see. Excellent. You have 4 more slots left for that, folks. A lot of people do love the vanity tiers, which is something like this or custom sketches, things like that. So I love seeing those tiers. So if you want to be in this book, it's a great way to do it. I know we made about 500 the last day out of offering a Cameo tier with the Ironverse Comics one, and I mean that made a difference. And it's people like being part of that because crowdfunding comics is a very personal customer to creator experience. There's very little barriers between those folks. You're not dealing with a publisher so much. You're not dealing with a marketer specifically. You're not dealing with that. You're dealing with the creator. And so
So
that's a great way to really show how much you appreciate their work and what they're doing.
so one thing I did do with that one, um, you can hear me, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I've been tinkering with the mute. So one thing I did do with the Cameo is I added add-ons. So if you wanted to throw in that sticker and print or the T-shirt, you can do that on that tier as well.
Excellent. That's smart. So you're not missing anything by going in on the Cameo. Just make sure you double check the extra section, which I utilized for the first time this last campaign as well, and it makes a few sales. And I think people like being able to customize their tier if they got a little extra and there's something else they wanted. Very smart. Now there was only one. So is this the original piece? That was
Yeah, that's
that's
the
gone.
original piece.
All
It's gone.
right, excellent.
That's actually not even the finished version. I found out after I put it up there. He's like, "Oh, I'm still working on it." I'm like, "Oh, so I imagine
Yeah.
it's going to look more like the digital that he did for it."
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna look more like this, but in person. And looks like he uses was it markers or watercolor? Hard to
I
tell.
think he was using markers, like
Excellent.
marking pens. So I do know who got that, so I will try and get a picture of that when it gets here.
Yeah, why not? That's cool. I'm so glad somebody picked it up. We've been having a hell of a time trying to sell original art from Jack, so I love seeing pieces go at a decent price too, which is wonderful. Really helps the campaign, and I'm sure helps Emilio out quite a bit too. So I
Yeah,
love seeing that.
and you know how much it is to get that stuff out of Argentina. So
Yeah, Maxie and I had talked about it. It's like the 80 pages, man. The price we're gonna have to ask. So yeah, it's a trip, but it's possible, and I'm glad you guys found a niche for it. I recommend folks go to this campaign page, really give it a look over. Good information, tells you what you want. You can see the quality of the writing, the lettering, the beautiful coloring, which adds quite a bit to the mainly grayscale book, and just the mood and the feeling of the book. It's really well presented on the page, and you'll be seeing what you're getting. So if you have any interest in this book, take a double look. It's only going to take a couple minutes, and even that effort makes a huge difference to the creative team and to comics in general. Please look at comics. I would really appreciate folks doing that, particularly creator-owned comics that aren't trying to be shoved down your throat. We're asking kindly because we know what it feels like to have certain things crammed a little too hard, whether it's for profit or for other agendas. And most creators who are crowdfunding, they want to work towards profit, so it's sustainability, but they're more leaning towards the heart and the creative end. And so I would rather personally have my energy and my money going towards that aspect of comics and indie comics than having it go towards a few others that I'll read the issue and then I won't look at it again ever, and it won't mean anything to me, and the story might not be there, and layer and layer and layer of regret. It's very rare you're going to regret backing a creator who has delivered, desires to continue to deliver, and wants to make this their home, their creative home. You can't do that by messing with people. And so if you can find a genuine creator, and particularly one you like, please stick with them. They'll appreciate it. It's how I've gotten so far. It's how Scott got his first issue out. It's how basically everybody in indie comics gets going. And means the world to us.
I
Man.
do want to add too,
Yes,
if
please.
maybe crowdfunding is not your thing, maybe you got burned, or like that whole, well, you say you're gonna give me something, kind of throws you off from the whole thing. And this goes for Ironverse Comics as well. As we also have storefronts. You can
Yes.
go in, check out our merch, even go to Wicked and just get the comics, and it's basically you pay us, we send you the products. There's
Exactly.
no wait.
Particularly, I like to recommend. I don't think any stores watch this. We were able to sell 6 store tiers from our campaign, and that makes a huge difference to me, just personally, that somebody would be willing to invest in that, so that these books can go to homes I never would have imagined them hitting. That makes a huge difference to me mentally, if nothing else. That uncertainty principle is there. I love that. I think that causes a lot of good things to happen. And so the more you folks can support the work that Wicked's doing, the easier time we'll have leveraging to get into places like that, to get a presence and a foot in the larger consciousness of comics. And again, when I'm saying larger consciousness, it's still a tiny little thing. So once you're in there, it's kind of hard to wriggle people loose, as we've been seeing. There's some gnarly people who got up high places and sat there for quite some time. So the best way to do that is to make sure you're getting good people who are passionate about the medium up there and not letting them get complacent. And the way to do that is to support their work, because that's their passion. It's what they want to do. So it's very unlikely they'll become complacent with it. You can see that even on the highest range of crowdfunding. They're not complacent about it. I might not agree with their marketing all the time. I might not agree with their customer interactions all the time, but they're not complacent. They don't expect to be successful. And I don't think anybody in comics should ever expect to be successful, because you're setting yourself up for a massive downfall. And the best way to avoid those downfalls is to have as many eggs in as many different baskets as you can in different ways to allow folks to find you. And Wicked Publishing is a great one. You can get our books for a reasonable price, basically as if you were buying from a distributor. Well, more like you're buying from the price is more like you're buying from a shop. So I'll give folks that. It's more as if you're walking to a shop and walking out with a comic, but you still have to wait like you would with a distributor. But that's what indie can do currently at this level. If we were in Image or Dark Horse or somebody, I don't even know if we'd have the power to speak to you folks like we are right now, if we'd have that creative control and that creative freedom. So you really have to figure out where you want your energy, your financial energy, what you want it to support. And on my end, yeah, I would rather more independent voices, as many as possible, and less filtering up to the top that really ends up getting the money spread very thin and sometimes directed to the wrong people. And this is how we do it. Ground level efforts, continuing with our passion and sharing it with you lovely folks. I want to thank you guys for coming. Absolutely wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and check something real quick. We're not done, I don't think. I'm just checking. Yeah, so we got about another 20 minutes. We don't have, there's a few people in, supposedly 4 people. If you folks have any questions, now would be a wonderful time to direct them to me or Scott. If not, what I did on the last interview is open it up to you, my guest, to ask me any questions you'd like. I don't know if you have any, but that's that's what I do when we hit this point.
Okay, and you can also ask me any questions.
Of course.
Well,
the main thing I'd ask then, this one should take a minute or two, is why? What drove you to explore childhood trauma in your effort? Like, well, what's your reason? What's the passion for that? Because I have, of course, my own for doing my work, which also explores trauma. So I love hearing that. It puts some empathy to all of it.
That's a good question. So I guess
it's not too personal.
It kind of goes back to the original spark, the original idea I had, which was I was kind of dealing with a chronic illness that I just found out I had, which was sleep apnea. So I was just kind of going for a walk and just kind of processing everything, and my brain was basically like, my body's been slowly killing itself while I was asleep, and I had no idea this was happening. I was just kind of getting the evidence and the symptoms I was having. And then I kind of switched gears and said, what if one of my emotions did that? Like kind of took off when I was sleeping and did its own thing. And I kind of had this, first envisioning of like a character that's kind of like upset about something on the news, and then this thing comes out and like goes halfway across the world to this war zone and starts just killing people left and right. And that was kind of the original idea I had for Wrath. But then I kind of took a step back and was like, I don't think that's really the message I wanted to convey with this. And I kind of started looking closer to home. And where I was working at the time was the family violence unit. I was a clerk for my local DA's office, and there was a lot of cases with domestic violence and just a whole bunch of other just awful stuff, and I see these people dealing with this stuff and confronting their assaulters and just the toll it was taking on them. And one of the things I really like to see is sometimes it would just destroy the person, but when they just kind of took it and built upon it and it made them stronger, is just it was so inspiring for me. And that's kind of the emphasis and the core of Doug is he was able to step out and build, and you're going to start seeing that as he's basically coming to terms with his power and what he ultimately decides to do with it. Is that he's not just the average person, and there's something like an inner strength to him, as it were, that we're going to see come out. And he's going to have his own motivations and reasons for why he does what he does. But that's kind of the avenue I wanted to explore with this series.
Excellent. See, that's why I like asking that, because usually, again, we talk about this passion thing again and again, and I don't care if I'm repeating myself, but there has to be a drive, a reason, a point. And I find the whole purpose of storytelling to me, period, whatever medium, is communication. Now, it might be a lot of different flavors of communication. Some that it's just to have fun. So I'm just sharing this enjoyment that I found or I want to create for you. That's a wonderful motivator. But sometimes it's also a deeper personal exploration of an experience, and it is a bigger metaphor for that experience. That's a lot of what I'm doing with Jack. It's a lot of what you seem to be doing with Wrath, and I love stories that come from that place and honest desire to connect and experience with somebody else that you found profound, and hopefully they will too. And that's a wonderful thing. It's part of the magic in comics. When you're thinking a magic in comics, most people think Alan Moore. That's what I think of when I'm thinking of magic in comics. It's in the storytelling. It's in the passion. Uh, for writers, then it's in ideas like we're talking about. But for artists, it could be in the line art, how they convince and display emotion in faces, or how they set up a scene's drama or its dynamic. That can be very personal to somebody. Maxie's extremely skilled at doing that, where he's in the moment when he's drawing the panel, and he can see what the moment's trying to convey, and he's able to pull out of himself and out of his art skills something to further that message. And again, I love the collaborative bits of comics because of that. Would you be able to, I don't know, convey something similar that you've had working on Wrath? A similar kind of experience with Emilio, or with your colorist, or with anybody?
So it's been interesting, and let's kind of go take a step back a little bit. Is
Okay.
I've always hated writing. Like,
Okay.
you
Okay.
try and get me to do wall of text, like anything like that, and it was almost like pulling teeth for me. Um, but something happened with Wrath, and there's something with the medium of comics. It just took something that I didn't enjoy and then made it click. um it it's just something about the sequential art, the way I envision things, the way I put them on the page in that script format. It just clicked for me. um and so when I had the idea, and I was listening to Kevin Smith interview Dan Harmon,
Okay.
and they talked about how he got started, and he was like, yeah, for writing scripts we find out how much it was, and we're just like, we need to get in on this. And so we just went and checked out a book from the library that was how to write scripts, and we just started writing. It's that easy. Just so I was like, okay, if that's how he got started and he's had some success at writing, I'm just gonna go in. I have this idea. I'm gonna start Googling, like how to make comics, and I found some articles about scripting and lettering, and that's just how I kind of got started. Then creating the team is also like in and of itself a process.
Yes.
Um, So originally I started looking for artists because we'll go back to that how I ended up with Wicked and with all these people that were already further along with their projects, and I was basically like, okay, you got to go find an artist. So I was going through Twitter, and they had, and they still do this now. They have these great little share your art threads, and
Yes.
I would just find them, and I just start scrolling through them and finding styles that I like, and just started following people. So I got up the nerve, and I asked one of the people they were that I was interested in working with. They were going to art school and they were doing their own comics. So like, maybe this person would be interested. Put my little pitch together, sent it off, got nothing. um,
Yeah.
and then Drew was actually on the top of, like, towards the top of my list. I wanted to talk to her, but her DMs were closed. So I kind of, okay, maybe I'll talk to that one. I tried another one. They liked the idea. They thought about it, but they're like, it seems too much. Because I had a really ambitious idea, which is, like 250 pages for a graphic novel. I
Yeah.
didn't quite understand like how terrifying that was.
Yeah.
um, so um, I eventually came back to Drew. I found she was on another social media, so I found out I could talk to her there. I pitched her the idea, and she's like, "Okay, let me think about it. Yeah, I'm willing to give it a shot." So we started work, got a couple pages done, um, tried to get the Kickstarter going, and then it just did not take off. And part of that too was just, me not really knowing the nature of the game, not having enough done beforehand, basically not having enough to show.
Yeah.
Um, and so after that, Drew was working full time and trying to squeeze in the art, and she just basically came to me and was like, I can't do all of this. Um, I'd like to help out and still work on the project, but and she does great concept work. So she was like, I'd like to stay and do the concept and cover art, but we're gonna have to find someone to do the pages. Um,
Well, right
and
there is a good sign of somebody you want to work with, because a lot of artists will take project after project after project because they don't know how to say no, and because it looks good to have that many projects going. But when it comes time to actually get the work done, they're overwhelmed. And some will not admit that, and they will continuously drive forward with that, I got this, until 3 or 4 projects are all being juggled by different creative teams, and a few of them are going to lose out no matter what. So that's always good to hear, because it takes a big person to walk up and say, I can't do it. That takes a very
yeah,
big person, especially in the creative arts, because that's a big vulnerability. Your clients don't want to know you can't do something. They want to believe you could do anything you send their way, and you kind of want them to believe that and hope that you
yeah,
can, you know. But
yeah,
that's just not how it works. And right there, that's a great thing to hear. And I'm stoked that you were able to take the lessons and grow on it, because you're gonna take lumps at the beginning. I ran the Jack One campaign. We had a full issue basically done, and I ran it for 2 months the first time, and we got nothing. I think I got a $10 contribution. That was before joining social media. And then I joined social media, and my timing was good, and a few other things. But I took lumps. Before that, it was 5 years of pitching it to Image, Dark Horse, and a bunch of other smaller uh, publishers, and only getting one response in those 5 years of a guy who said, I enjoyed the read, but it's not for us. And that one response, meant the world to me, because it was finally somebody I actually knew somebody got the pitch. So it's just those little steps is how you grow, one way or another. And I think if you can just
yeah,
keep applying will, and in good ways, learning from it and then reapplying the will where it needs to go, then you're gonna grow. It's gonna get better. I don't see a way that it doesn't, unless extreme tragedy hits, which is not the norm.
yeah. But yeah, like you were pointing out, like because of that, the way Drew approached it, was up front with me, and also was one of the first people that actually like jumped on and believed in the project. I basically told her like, as long as you want a spot on the project, you have one.
Yeah, there you go.
And then so we started looking for a page artist, and
Oh,
that's really
she's
hard for
also your logo designer, isn't she?
um on actually she does a little bit.
Okay.
um so this actually, the Wrath title was actually Matt, or
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yeah,
from
Sulos.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yep. He
Okay.
inadvertently also made the logo for Doug's T-shirt as well.
Excellent.
It was originally part of the logo, and we're like, it's a little bit too much, but I really liked it. I'm like, that would look really good on a T-shirt. Let's just slap it on Doug's T-shirt, and so
Perfect.
that's where we got that little logo from. But yeah, she helped a little bit with the storefront logo.
Okay,
Her
that was it.
and the artist for the variant cover, Rosalind Summers.
Mm.
Kind of, that was a funny little team up, because I originally pitched it to her and she was like, I'm struggling with it a little bit. Maybe you should see if someone else wants to try. So I pitched it to Rosalind, and she got a couple of ideas. Kind of gave me a rough idea. I showed that to Drew, and she's like, "Oh, do this, this, and this." And then I just got the two of them talking, and we got what we wanted out of that. um,
Excellent. This is
but
the
yeah,
T-shirt I'm talking. We're talking about, folks. It's on RagePuppy.com if you want to snag it. I love the T-shirt. It's one of those. It's a T-shirt design, which is wonderful. I'm terrible at actually getting designs that are for T-shirts on T-shirts. So I love seeing a good design on T-shirts. So definitely check it out, folks. RagePuppy.com. Great place to support Scott and his work, and get yourself some quality merch.
and so going back to the story, where were we? So we're looking for the page artist, and this was really difficult for me because I had to have like people show me what they could do. And it's really hard for me to turn people down, because I hate that feeling of rejection. Um, and so I had to say no to a couple of people, but I tried to do it um, the way I would want to be told no. And I actually got quite a few fans out of the process, which was surprising to me. Even though I told them like, what you're doing isn't really going to work for what I had in mind. Um, they still really liked what I was doing, and some of them have backed both campaigns.
Well,
Um,
we were talking about that earlier too, and that's great to hear. Is again, most comic fans are creators, so if they can interact with a creator that they love the interaction, even if it wasn't in this case it was a denied gig, but if it was a positive interaction, that sets a precedent for what the medium is like to interact with, and that's a good precedent. We want people to feel okay being rejected, or okay trying new things, engaging with new projects. We need that out there, and I think a lot of folks see that, and when they see it good, they want to support it in one way or another, even if it's not the way they originally intended, which is great. I love hearing that. I've had to go through quite a few different people, and for different gigs, from logos to most recently it was logo artists, and we had about 15 come up, all ranges of prices, abilities, scale, and I found there's a very wide range of reactions, and I know the kind of people I want to work with and I don't want to work with, even if their work isn't the best, because of those interactions. Because there's room for growth, there's room for interaction. There was one particular lady who almost expected the job as she came in, and that put me off right away. I'm like, you want this gig, right? So why are you being arrogant about it and being kind of non-interested in the gig, just in you having the job? That was a trip. I hadn't dealt with that before, but now I know that that's a thing, and the best way to deal with it is super professionally And if it goes past that, then you're done anyway. You don't have to talk to them. So there's so much there too that we're talking about the creative aspect mainly because it's the best aspect in my opinion. Besides having and seeing the book engage with people, having it in their hands, them reading it, commenting. That's the best part in my eyes. But behind that is the creation of it. That's my second favorite part. But almost the most important part and what we've been kind of talking about is the creative team management, and that in a lot of cases is up to the writer. Sometimes it's our writer artist and he's just the only one doing it, or she's just the only one doing it, and you don't have the same aspect, but you still have to deal with printers, you still have to deal with hosting sites, maybe if that's all you're doing is web comics. You still have other middlemen to deal with, and that's a part that a lot of comic creators don't realize the scale of the interactions that you need to juggle to get these things done. And I think it's a wonderful thing to learn. I think finding out more and more how much I've had to figure out, it's been really good for me as a person to figure it out. But a lot of people will go in expecting, funny books. It's this easy thing that everybody's able to do. And yeah, everybody should be able to do it, but you got to have the persistence because the Jack Kirby quote, comics will break your heart, but you got to let it. You got to put your heart in it to be broken. And so if you're not willing to put in everything, and it will keep telling you what everything is, it doesn't stop. There's more and more, something new to learn. So you got to keep it in there even when it's getting pounded,
and you gotta learn to pick yourself up. That's the biggest one.
That's the one, man. That's the one. But we're here hoping that a little bit of a boost here and your 8 days will get you that 36% and more. I have a belief that it can be done. I know it can be done. I don't. We were talking about this earlier. Is an off stream is that the environment's a little bit different right now for crowdfunding. It comes in waves, as far as I can tell. There'll be a big wave if it's from a certain creator. Sometimes that'll bring strength to a platform. If there's a new book coming out from a certain creator, that sometimes can do it. But right now, GoGo isn't super hot. It's pretty cold in both my and your experience at the moment. And Kickstarter is right now burning up a little bit more. You and I before this spoke a little bit. Maybe it's something to do with the transaction difference. Maybe that's my thinking is part of it. It allows more faith on Kickstarter than GoGo, where you have to deal with the instant loss of money without a guarantee of a product, where Kickstarter's like, we don't even know if it's going to fund. We'll put your money on the books and we won't charge you till then. That can maybe make the backings go up higher. My question is, when that month or 2 months finishes, is if they still funded. That's the thing I've always worried about with Kickstarter is maybe you only make 2% above your goal. It ends and you have enough refunds that it was 7-10%. Then you didn't fund and you thought you were golden. I don't like that prospect. I don't like that prospect at all.
I saw that happen to another creator where they had a big funding at the end and they were like, we got this, and then that bounced.
Chargeback.
Sorry,
yeah.
your campaign did not fund, and they had to start completely over from scratch. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, that
hurts just to watch.
Yeah, no, that's a terrifying prospect to me. Compared to GoGo, that money's there. Worst is they're gonna have to give it back. You don't even have to touch or deal with it. So that's great. But yeah, I don't know what the future's crowdfunding is. I know it's growing. I know it'll continue to grow. I have a belief comics as a medium will also grow as acceptance of sequential art kind of becomes like what video games became in terms of, everybody can do it without, you're not a shut-in, you're not an otaku, you're not worse off for reading these quote-unquote funny books. I'm hoping that's what happens as more legitimate sources, legitimate I say. Again, this is all legitimate. The problem is people's perception of these art styles, and that's been a problem for forever with nerd culture. And then once it became mainstream, it found other problems. But one of those isn't money. And comics does have that problem right now. And I'm hoping again, there's an air of, these big successful people are coming in and saying this is a good legitimate way to get this done. My hope is that would attract more comic shop fans to look at. Well, I'm I want something different. I can't get through the publishers because every publisher has a kind of style that they look for. They may have a very wide range of styles, but they work within what they know is part of their brand. And so you find less and less extreme creativity in these bigger publishers. Even just above Wicked and a few others at our level, there's like Scout and Vault. You can feel they have a style to them still. They've already kind of put that together, and so my hope is crowdfunding breaks that paradigm. It shows that there is no style that's going to guarantee you success. So please stop looking at only those styles. Look at what's good first and not what it looks
You know
like,
what?
not who's doing it. But I don't know.
I just realized what we forgot to bring up.
Ooh, what did we forget to bring up?
The art raffle live stream.
Ooh, let's do that. That's a good time for it. Let's do that.
Yeah. So Drew
Let me
actually came up with
open it
this.
here. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
tell them a little bit and I'll see if I can get it open.
So this was her idea. She put it all together. And what it is she wanted to kind of do something to thank, past backers and also kind of give an incentive for future backers. So there's basically different ways you can get entries into this drawing, and the winners will be drawn on a live stream that she's going to do on the final day of the campaign. And the winners will basically get their request drawn live in a quick little color sketch that she's going to do on that stream. So if you have OCs, like I would really like to see a Drew drawn Jack Irons, for example. That would be a cool one for the stream. You basically go into, she has a Google Docs document, and I've been putting out a daily tweet, and just retweeting that tweet gets you an entry. But the big kicker is you have to go into the Google Doc and fill out the entry form. The reason we have you do that is so we can track how many entries you have, and also so that you can already put in the request so that Drew can basically pull a name, see what she needs to draw because she asked for a reference, and basically start drawing from there to try and get as many of these as we can done in the stream to get as many winners as we can. So if you've backed the campaign, go ahead and go and fill out that form because that's already won. If you've been a current backer in the last couple days, or if you back before the cutoff on the last day, every $5 that you put into the pledge gets you an entry. And also, like I said, retweeting that, another entry. And then maybe if you don't want to back, or you've already backed, you can also just throw $5 in donations. Every $5 gets you an entry as well.
Excellent. So I've been showing the entry form so people can kind of look at what it's going to look like. I went ahead and filled it out myself this morning. I backed again at a higher physical tier because I was able to, and hopefully we will be seeing a Jack because there's a couple entries I would say, but
there's a couple,
we will see.
And I want more, just for variety, and also because I think
yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so too. There's a link
I
to
will
her
try to-
channel also on the Google Doc form. Link to the campaign if you haven't been there. But definitely go to her channel as well and do that. I believe you sub to a Twitch channel too. I might be wrong.
Yeah, it's you follow. And the
there you
nice
go.
thing too is even if you can't be there, you'll have everything that she needs to do your drawing, and she's going to save it there on her Twitch channel, so you can go back and watch it later.
Excellent. Well, there you go, folks. It looks a little bit more intimidating than it is, this entry form. Don't worry about it, folks. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay, how much of my lifeblood am I giving up? But it's nothing like that. Don't worry about it, folks. Your soul is safe. It's just an art entry form. No, and it's a great way to do it so that you have the data correct. And I love hearing that, and that you can manage the amount of pledges, and so folks can hedge their bets. That's a great way to spur interaction. It worked on me. So there you go. I also linked the tweet. If you folks want to retweet that, that's in the chat. Please do. Follow Scott as well, please. Check out his work. Go to Wicked Publishing, check that out. And I think we're about there, Scott. Do you have any final thoughts? I'm not trying to rush you out, but try
No,
to
no
keep it
problem.
about an hour.
Like I said, if you go and find all these tweets, every single one of them gets you an entry. So go in and hit that retweet button.
There you go. I got you started, folks, in chat. So that's a place to start. And go down his timeline, find him, retweet, get your OC drawn by a killer indie artist. I love hearing that. Support wonderful indie artwork. Check out Rage Puppy Productions or RagePuppy.com. Go check out some wall art, some stickers, T-shirts, anything to support indie comics. There's some wonderful designs there. And Scott, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna go ahead and shill 2 projects on my own for the hell of it before we finish.
Just one last thing. I did notice that you backed, so thank you for that, and thank you for having me on here.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm proud to be a part of the indie community. I'm particularly proud to be a part of the little corner I'm in. So I'm happy to support when I'm able. Not always that easy, particularly this year, but and that's the thing too, folks. We understand this year. We understand where folks, priorities have to be right now. But we got to make our priorities known as well. And if you want to support those because you like our work, it makes a massive difference. It's how we keep going. You folks know this probably. I don't care. I'm going to tell you again because I love you and I want you folks to love indie comics as much as I do. Now, on that love of indie comics, Jack Irons Steel Cowboy issues 1 through 3 still available till about the end of the month. My hope is we will be able to in the next couple of weeks release the digital number 3 to backers so we can start getting that ball rolling. People will know it's done and then we can work on getting printing and the extra items. Every dollar in this campaign till the end will make me feel that much more comfortable about international fulfillment. That's my main concern right now, is that really kicking my ass with COVID and the end of the year and Christmas shipping and who knows what else. I'll be keeping people informed as that progresses, but it's 124 pages of the best of the Weird Space West, following a mortal, reincarnated immortal cowboy in his journey through galactic Armageddon. We'd really appreciate you braving those wastes with us. The Kill Journal is live right now. I have a short in this project. If you like slashers, it's the perfect season for it. Consider backing it. Wonderful production value. Probably one of the highest production values out of any of the indie comics coming out right now. And we got to hit 4 times its goal for you guys to see the story I was talking about, at least in the physical. So I want that to happen. That's the main reason I am putting it forward. But if you guys only get 3 times, you get to see Maxi Dallo's wonderful story. I've seen the pages from it. It is gorgeous. It's a great pairing of talents. It's a dogfighting story, believe it or not. And so it's also got a little bit of Rage Puppy in there. But so it's worth checking out. Look through it. Stephen Cannon, the colors for Jack Irons, is also on this project. I want it to be successful so he continues to get more work. He did wonderful work on their covers. If you're into slasher horror, you're not going to find a better indie book on the market. Period, in my opinion. Now, does that opinion mean much? No, because it's biased, but I don't care. I'm going to tell you it anyway. And check out IronverseComics.com for anything else that you're interested with that we're doing. We got free reads. Right now, Cactus Coyote is in the Shonen Jump Tezuka Manga Contest. We're going to find out if he got the Kyoto Award or placed in the next couple months. And I think beginning of next year, we'll find if Shonen was interested or not. But you can go and read. He did extra pages on the manga just for the contests, and they've got a lot of soul and spirit to them, and it's a free read. Helps us out. We're at about 32k views, which means it's probably the most seen Ironverse property, believe it or not. So I'm so happy to see that, and that's a great way to support us. We've got our merch as well, and check it out if you're interested. That helps quite a bit too. And yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I saw the Flock comic show up. He's next week's guest. I cannot wait to talk to him about his wonderful project. And thank you, Master Wall Staring. Appreciate you coming in. I'm glad you think it's cool, even though my misspelling of entry form is right above it. Well. And thank you, Josh. I don't know if you stuck with us the whole time, but thank you for coming. Silva. Luca, who was here much earlier and left the first like. I don't know if you watch this or are here, but thank you so much. Our little channel doesn't have too much steam to it at the moment, so every bit of interaction makes a world of difference. Don't forget to like, sub, share, and if you're an indie comic creator, get in contact. I'm scheduling these every week, and I'm proud and happy to do them. So again, thank you, Scott, and hopefully we'll be talking again soon with a successful campaign. I'd love to do a campaign celebration with you here in the next 8 days.
Definitely.
All
Yeah,
right.
we'll
There's
make
no
that
if.
happen.
We're gonna make it happen. I don't know who's. Again, we'll go back to blood. Maybe I'll start selling blood. I'll get you some blood money.
Some plasma.
We'll
Get that plasma money.
get you that sweet plasma money. And plus, I get free orange juice, and that's all I need to survive, right? I'm pretty sure I
There
was
you
told
go,
that. All right, folks. I love you all. Thank you for joining me on this Rusty Ironverse comics trail, and we'll catch you again probably sooner than next week. But if you're just interested in these interviews, next Thursday about this time. It varies in the evening depending on the creator's schedule. There's been more drive and interest, so I might make them 2 a week. I've been having quite a bit of fun. So we'll see if there's demand. Let me know in the comments below as well afterwards if you catch the the upload, whatever they call it, when the stream's done and it's up there. If you watch it, thank you. Anyway, take care, folks, and I'll see you next time.
Take care.